Coach, we're good. A few of the players mentioned that you guys kind of went over stats the other day. What are you really focusing on? Is there one particular area where this team's got to make a jump defensively?
Yeah, every year, like you go back and you do your South Scout, and you look at what you did good and areas you need to improve. So for us, it just really came down to situational football. There was a lot of areas that we made improvement from 20 to 21, but we had to get better on third down, red zone area, things of that nature.
Joe, what surprised you about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah last year? Anything?
He's a good player. He's very, very athletic, very explosive. When he puts his foot in the ground, he can go from point A to B right now. So his ability to match up in coverage, his ability to make plays in space is unique.
Or was there anything that he did that you weren't sure he was ready for? Or
No,
could do? Or?
as a young guy, as a rookie coming to the league, you have to learn how the game's being played. In college, it's a little bit different in terms of what they see. For him, his first year was really how was he going to play in the box. I went back and watched every single play when he was at Notre Dame, and he was really playing on the edge like a nickel. He was playing out in the slot like a nickel, or he was blitzing off the edge. So all the stuff in terms of playing in the box was new for him, and I thought he handled it pretty good.
He almost looks like a running back sometimes out there.
Absolutely. We talk about our linebackers. We want them to look like the animals they hunt. So we want our linebackers to resemble running backs because those are the guys they have to defend.
He has talked about turning it down at times, like he was overly aggressive sometimes, overrunning games.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Well, he's kind of a see ball, get ball type of guy, but you have to go through your key progression. We want the fast trigger, in terms of executing your run gaps and your responsibilities, but you got to be patient and make sure your key takes you there. So he just got ahead of himself a little bit playing fast, but that just comes with experience.
You talked a lot about. You said that you would have more for him this year than as a rookie. So,
Yeah.
What are some of those additional things you have on his plate?
Yeah, well, you always want to activate your playmakers, but at the same time, you have to make sure you're doing the right thing for the entire defense. So we'll always have ways to blitz them, ways to put them in certain positions in coverage. We'll do a little bit more of that this year. That's just natural for any rookie going into a second year, but we definitely want to take advantage of his talents.
Joe, John brought up yesterday this Alpha Dogs thing you guys are doing. Can you tell us
It's a
what
secret.
that is? Or is it?
No, it's. I won't get into all the details, but basically we try to make our practices like games. So we try to chart all the information, and then we keep track of the guys leading each categories, teams leading each categories, and then there may be a reward at the end.
Are
Maybe.
there four teams, he said?
Four
Did you
teams.
Did you divide them up, or did you pick captains, let them pick?
We have a little cabinet that divides it up. We just try to balance out the teams. But we're definitely going to get into alpha dog mode here in a couple of days.
Joe, a year ago, the offense returned intact.
Yes.
Eight coaches, system,
Yeah.
11 starters, and it didn't follow. It didn't turn into anything good. This year, you expect to pick up where you left off, but why would it be different?
No, I think when you can bring back the same staff and when you can bring back a majority of players, you feel like you can do more defensively because the guys understand the system. And I put more on the guys in the offseason, put more on them right now in training camp, just in terms of the amount of defenses that we're installing. And you just feel like with those guys understanding that now we can get to another level of what we can do defensively. So just bringing guys back, it's just continuity and everybody understanding the scheme and the techniques that we're asking them to play.
Think that didn't happen on offense last year?
I couldn't answer. Yeah, I pay no attention to that, to be honest with you.
Joe, I got another JOK question for you.
Yeah.
Coaches talk a lot about your guy in year two playing even faster
Yes.
than he did in year one.
Yeah.
JOK was so fast this year. Does he still have another level that he can get to that way?
Well, I think his level's pretty good where he's at. I think it's just more understanding his responsibilities and, again, letting his keys take him to where he's supposed to go. And I think he'll be more consistent that way this year, but you're still going to see the speed and the quickness.
How's Jordan done better since since last year?
Jordan?
Yeah.
I think he's changed his body. He came in. Actually, when he came in for training camp, we reported. I saw him. I was like, "Man, you're looking good. How much you weigh?" I think he was in the 320 somewhere, but he looks like he weighs 280, and that's the way you want the big guys to look. Big athletes. And I think for him, it's his confidence. He's been in the system going into his third year. Coach Kiffin's done a great job teaching him, but now he knows the expectations what's going to be asked of them, and we definitely need them to step up for us this year.
Hey, Joe, I got another JOK question for you.
Yeah.
You kept adding and adding to his plate last year early on. He handled it.
Yeah.
How rare is that for a first-year guy?
No, I mean, some guys, well, the guys that are on the field are normally the guys that can handle it, when you get rookies. And you have to be careful because, I mean, you guys see the ability he has. So you're sitting there on the grease board drawing all type of things up. But at the same time, they have to be able to handle it. And we slowly added things to his plate along with the rest of the defense, and I felt like he did a good job.
Yesterday, John Johnson said the 3 safety look, he still feels like it worked. You guys bring Ronnie back.
Yeah.
2 parts. Looking back last year, did it get to where you wanted it to, and do you have the same expectations?
Yes, he's politicking. Yeah. No, the 3 safety package is good for us, and there's some other things we're going to do this year. But I always feel like defensively, I want to dictate the matchups, not what the offense is doing. So when you can go 3 safeties, you can put more corners on it. We have all type of packages, but we'll slowly introduce it so that way we feel like we have more control of what we're doing defensively.
You also mentioned turnovers as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the alpha dog, is that really an emphasis this training camp?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we live and breathe. That's in our DNA, is that we want to take away the football. We haven't done as good a job the previous 2 years. I think we were right in 19th, 20th in the NFL. We greatly have to improve that because that's one of the major categories, if not the most important category when it comes to winning games.
Do you consider 2 linebackers your base defense?
We're based when we go to base personnel against offenses. Our base defense is three linebackers, and then when we go to nickel, then we'll have 2 linebackers. And we bring another DB in, and then if we go dime, then we'll have 1 linebacker on the field. But I said you have all the, you have Ronnie, you have Jacob, Sione, JOK, so you can create a lot of different things out there.
When you talk about adding things
Yeah.
to the defense, is there a point where you don't want things to get too complicated? And
Yes.
how do you lower that point in?
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been trying to say is there's a lot of things we can do defensively, but you have to be able to practice it, and you have to be able to execute it, on game day. So when you get to the point where you feel like guys aren't executing, making too many mistakes, then that's when you have to really look at the menu and maybe have to pull back a little bit.
Who will work at nickel besides Nissel?
We're training everybody. Yeah, so we have 7 guys we're training right now, and that's what we do with all the guys. We always try to train everybody that has that type of skill set to play the nickel position. So throughout training camp, throughout the preseason, there's going to be multiple guys playing the nickel position and just see how it sorts out.
Some of those corners have never played inside.
No, but they haven't. Maybe they weren't asked to play nickel in college. So we train them all and see who can do it.
George, some of the safeties be the nickel?
Absolutely. Yeah, hey, the more you can do, the better.
Another one of those guys who's entering his second year is Grant.
Yes.
JD3 was saying yesterday he thinks Grant could be one of the better ones in the game. Just what did you see from him last year, and what are your expectations for him?
I think for Grant, he was coming off that injury. So I think early on in the season, he was kind of feeling his way, like, am I really back? And you could see, I remember just watching the whole season and just watching him, just tracking him the whole way through the season. You can see him get better, and you can see the confidence. I think with him, he really sees the field well. You don't ever see him really wasting steps, and I think the instincts really play a big part of it for him. And then you have all the size and length and ability he has, So he got better last year, and we look for him to have a good year for us this year as well.
You guys used Greg as your nickel at times last year when Troy
Yes,
was
yes.
out. It seems like that's something you're going to do this year. Seems like something he wants to do. Is that part of it, that mentality, that kind of want to be inside?
The more you can do, the better. It gives us flexibility on defense, and he likes it in there. The nickel position is a good position because you can get away with a lot of things. You're close to the ball, we blitz you, but he's picked it up and he's doing really well so far.
What are your concerns at the D-tackle positions? A lot of people think you need more experience there.
Yeah, I think we're at a position where we're trying to develop young players, along with some free agents. And at certain times, within the team, you're going to have those moments where you're developing young guys at a position. So for us this year, we have some youth at the defensive tackle position, but they're talented. So along the way, they're probably going to make some mistakes, as they're growing into the position and learning it. But I think that's just a process we're going to have to go through this year.
Sir, with Anthony starting camp injured, how much does that kind of open the opportunity up for Jacob?
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Anthony.
Oh, no, they're still in competition. Jacob been fighting that injury bug for the last couple of years. He's healthy right now. He's playing with a lot of confidence. He's a good leader. But when Anthony gets back, they'll still be in competition for that Mike position.
Joe, what do you think when you hear guys talk about, this can be a dominant defense and this could be the best secondary in the league? Do you like that kind of talk? Do you tell them to maybe take a step back?
Yeah, I do like the confidence, but that's something that we want to keep, internal, within the confines of our wall in the defensive meeting room. But I do like the confidence from the players. I do feel like we have a chance to have a good defense, but you got to prove it. You can't talk about it. You got to do it between the white lines.
Circumstances last year forced you to use so many different combinations in that secondary.
Yeah.
And toward the end of the season, you guys really seemed to peak. How much can that benefit you going into this season, knowing that whatever combination you have to throw out there for whatever reason, you at least have some experience with it?
Yeah, it definitely helped us. Because a lot of guys had to play, but now they're getting that game experience. So when they go out there in game day, the lights come on, they're used to it. They've been there, they've done that. So for us, the multiple packages we use, moving guys around, that just helps us go into this year because we know we can do it.
What does the next level look like for you, Garrett?
Well, Miles obviously is a great player, but I know he puts a lot of pressure on himself to play better and to do more. And that's just Miles being Miles. And for me, I just want him to play within the scheme of the defense, and the production will come for him. But he's definitely the leader of our defense, and I know he's trying to bring guys along and really have a great year.
Joe, there's always the question of playing off versus press.
Yeah.
Corners.
Yeah.
Do you have more confidence in playing more press this year?
I'm just a press guy. That's just me. I just like to challenge the receivers, make it hard for them to get off the ball and hard for the quarterback, to make that completion. Over the course of my career, I've always had some bigger, talented corners that were able to press, and we have a whole bunch of them here. So we're going to be as aggressive as we can when we play man coverage.
Joe, with Denzel being out, how does that impact your early part of camp? What's the outlook for him?
He's still there. He can't do anything physically, but he still comes to, all the meetings. We have some walkthroughs, teaching guys techniques. But I think it just gives other guys, the opportunity to get reps. MJ Emerson to get more reps, some different combinations on the field. So it helps out, and we know we'll get Denzel back here in a couple of weeks.
What has Emerson shown you, and do you think, is he competing with Greedy for that third spot?
Yeah, we'll see. That's part of the training camp and preseason, but he is a very big corner. I walk by him, you look at him sometimes, it's like, I think he's a linebacker. But he's a big corner, he has a length, that's the way we like him, just because of the style of defense we like to play. He's a smart guy, he's picking things up, so we're looking forward to seeing what he can do this year.
AJ Green was undrafted, you're always trying to prove yourself as an undrafted player. Has he proved it to you?
He's proven himself. Last year he stepped up, he had some premium matchups against some of the better receivers in this league and did a nice job. And for him this year, he's part of the equation, and that just, again, it excites me because I know there's more things I can do. We're training them. Yeah, we're training. So I train everybody,
Does Alpha Dog have a contest prize or something?
There may be. There may be a prize, a couple of them.